Hello and welcome to Paper Traders, a show where two average Joes try to beat the market. I'm Eric and I'm here with Danny, and I'm also here to remind you that we are streaming live, so get your questions, comments, and everything else in while you're there. Like, subscribe, and also, get involved with the conversation. Per usual, we are strapped down with anything new really happening big time in the markets because of what's happening with the impeachment. Again, it is what it is, but there has been a little news. You've got Apple that came out and surprisingly beat earnings. I kind of looked at those numbers and kind of was surprised myself. What else? You got Boeing who missed, which we kind of all knew was going to happen, all due to what was going on with, the 747 MAX. Didn't quite hit where I wanted, where I was going to buy in, but there's still time. Beyond that, I guess the only other real story that we really kind of have is sports betting. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really know anything about this because that really isn't my game.
Yeah, it's more of a up-and-coming thing. Obviously, it's been around for, I think, the past year or so. A lot more states are adopting this, and it's becoming just more of a hobby, I guess, for a lot of people. I know there's some here in the office that like to partake in the gambling foray and go out and put some bets on some games, especially now that it's legal. But I think that since the Super Bowl is coming up, a lot of people are just kind of getting more interested in it. I'm sure that there's going to be billions of dollars spent on gambling, and people want to know kind of how they should invest in this, or is there ways to actually invest, which there are. A lot of third-party companies are involved with these. I know a lot of people know like FanDuel and
DraftKings.
Right, like companies like that. But they have a lot of partnership deals with companies like International Game Technology, which is ticker IGT. You have Scientific Games, which is ticker SGMS. And the Star Wars Group. That's the fanboy coming out on me, which is TSG. So they have deals with FanDuel, DraftKings, just kind of things like that. They're usually in cahoots with the, I wouldn't say, I guess they're bigger companies, obviously, like the Wynn Resorts.
MGM.
Yeah. They helped with a lot of like the table games, the slot machines, stuff like that. So there are a lot of like third-party companies that you can definitely get involved in and definitely see if you can make a play on them, especially with the big game coming up this weekend. I don't know.
Especially with the big game coming up this weekend.
Are you going to be watching? I'm sure you.
Yeah, I'll watch. It's pretty much like a holiday here in the States. You pretty much have to watch it. But I don't know. I'm not that big into sports.
Right.
Being in Chicago and everything, I've got the sports teams that I root for. But, I gave up rooting for the Bears back when they took Cutler on, so I was done with that. So
all right.
It doesn't really have any real leverage in my life. I watch it just because it's basically a holiday.
Okay. Well, if you are interested and you are betting, MGM actually has, sportsbook in over 7 states with 30 venues, and this has surprised me. They actually are partnership with Disney's ESPN and AT&T's Turner Sports to provide TV programming for sports betting. So they're actually going to take this to the big screen and have people, I guess, watch as you kind of go. Maybe it's going to be like one of those ESPN before the games. They kind of break down what's going to happen over the Sunday, who's going to win, who's not, who's going to play the best, that type of stuff. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out on that stuff. It's just going to continue to grow. I think maybe.
Well, every state's basically made it legal at this point. So it's going to be everywhere. I know you can pretty much just gamble online now. So you don't even have to leave your home anymore. You can just sit there on your computer and just do that.
That's very true. Technology is wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're into that world and you're into gambling, I know a couple people that play cards online, which again I don't understand. That just seems like it's totally stacked against you. But
Yeah, the AI, right?
Well, it's okay. Set of cards. It's a physical thing that you sit there and you can actually kind of play. Computers just spitting out whatever it wants, and you better guarantee that those things aren't in your odds.
True.
So
I always felt weird when you go to the casino and those ones at the bar you actually just sit on the little computer screen and play poker at.
Right.
I always felt like I lost because the computer was just stacked against me. I'd go over to the table and I'd start at least getting some hands to win on my end, but Yeah, I don't trust computer poker.
Gaming, yeah, it just seems way too stacked in the game's favor versus your favor. So I
right.
don't
I mean,
understand
the
how anybody got
casino's
into
out
it.
to make money, so I
Yep.
don't think
They're not there to pay out, guys.
Yeah, they're gonna put a machine that does. Oh yeah, here's a 50% payout. I don't think so.
Yeah,
So,
no, not my favorite way to lose money. I'll be honest.
right. So yeah, just obviously something to watch out for. Look into, like I said, there's those companies that you can kind of get involved with if you want to make some sports betting plays. Again, those were MGM. You had Fox Sports, Wynn Resorts, International Game Technology, Scientific Games, and the Stars Group.
Well, and there's actually going to be, I remember reading this because our awesome producer Patrick went and helped get us a couple stories this morning. One of them talks about how, this is the wrong one. There's one that talks about how, what is it, DraftKings is going to end up having a special offering. They're not going to go IPO.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna team up.
That's been kind of the trend lately, I feel like, with a lot of these new companies that are
Well, I feel like for
becoming
good
public.
reason. You get a lot of these companies that come out and they're just so overvalued, and then they drop down, and then they don't do anything. I mean, I haven't looked at actually Twitter. I haven't looked at Twitter in forever, but that was one of those ones where it came out and it was just so overvalued that it dropped down to nothing, and then it just sat sideways forever. So I kind of lost my personal interest in that one.
All right. Well,
But here it is. Here's the story from Seeking Alpha. DraftKings will be going public through a special purposes acquisition company, SB Tech, and they're going to change their ticker to Draft.
all right. Well, people are definitely going to be watching. That's going to be a huge IPO, in my opinion. I know
Yeah,
I'll
oh,
be
yeah, I
watching
mean-
it. I'm interested because it's such a. I mean, it's just one of those things where you hear all the time. Like even when it was illegal, there was tens of billions of dollars being spent by the average American. Just
Well,
being
because
like,
it's here that it was illegal. You could still VPN out and still gamble outside of the country.
right,
So
right.
I think that the United States finally just said, you know what, we could take this money and keep it here versus paying out to Thailand.
Yeah. So I would be very excited to start getting involved in investing in these types of companies. I mean, there's just so much money in it. It's just one of those things where you kind of get a little excited. It's kind of how people I'd imagine felt when the marijuana businesses started kind of taking off and became public and people can invest in them. They're just like, oh my God, it's one of these open businesses where we can finally find, the next Amazon or, whatever's going to blow up in that industry. So I know investors will be excited, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that one as it gets closer. But in other news, kind of what you touched on, we had some earnings, which is always fun. I know we're in the midst of just earnings after earnings.
What a
reports.
crummy time to be announcing earnings right now with what's going on politically.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine that a lot of the majority of people are kind of focused on that. But I think that people who are invested in the market are obviously still trying to keep up with what's going on. We had some big ones, like you said, Apple. Everybody likes to keep an eye on that company. And
Which is another one. It's crazy that they ended up beating their earnings.
yeah,
I mean,
surprisingly enough, I
yeah,
didn't think they were going to come out and crush the way they did.
well, especially with their hardware sales. I think for me, that was their most surprising part. Let me pull up the story just so I can get the numbers perfectly right. But the numbers they hit were surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, they ended up getting I think it was $2 billion more maybe.
Yeah, so I have
from
the earnings per share. They came in at $4.99, which was above their estimated average, which was $4.55. The revenue came in at $91.8 billion versus the $88.5. So that's another beat. They had iPhone sales.
Yeah, you're looking at the exact story I was looking for.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then they had iPhone sales at $55.96 billion, which crushed the estimates. They
Which,
were estimated
okay,
at
we'll
51.6. So
We'll pause on that
$5
one because that's the one that blows my mind.
Yeah.
The company that literally just added Slow-Mies and another camera lens to their, device, literally somehow, and doesn't offer 5G, somehow beat their revenue expectations for their devices. That to me is actually super surprising.
I don't get it. I'm one of those people who have had my phone for a long time. I haven't really felt the need to get one, but I feel like maybe, and just maybe, there's a lot of people like me who have had the 6 and 7 or maybe even the 8, whatever, because at this point we're at the 11.
The 11, yeah.
There's so many iterations, but they're maybe like me who are just like, hey, I think it's time to upgrade. So maybe there was a mass amount of people on top of kind of the Apple-y people who are just like, I need every new phone that comes out. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a perfect storm. Maybe this phone was just that good that I don't
That people
even
bought
realize
it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I haven't used it, so it's kind of hard for me to say why. But for them to come that high on their estimates,
Super surprising.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people that goes and I look at the new iteration every year to see what's changed, and like literally nothing really has changed. Maybe I think the processor is a little bit better on the new ones, but I think it's the same processor that was like the high end processor in the 10.
Yeah,
is now like the low end processor in the 11, unless you get the high end 11.
And aren't these processors just keeping up with the programs and the software that they're putting in the phones? Technically, I mean, it's
also processing video. I mean, it's running your phone,
Yeah, true,
so I
true.
mean, graphically and everything else. But I mean, I look at these every year because I'm same boat as you. I've got an older iPhone. I've been waiting for something for me to want to change.
to push you.
Yeah, it's like,
that looks interesting.
Give me the one new feature that's like worthwhile for me, and there's nothing. I mean, I still have a phone that has a jack in it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to get rid of that jack because you and I have talked about this because we're techs. I mean, it's really inconvenient when your Bluetooth headphones go out and then all of a sudden you're left with nothing.
Yeah.
So it's nice to jack in and you're just on your way. I've got like an old pair of headphones I just leave in my bag just for that purpose.
True. I do the same thing actually.
Yeah.
Because I stole one of my buddies or my roommate's headphone jacks. He has the new ones, and mine broke. So I use his, but I have wireless ones. So I'm kind of in the same boat. He has the new wireless ones that everybody's apparently buying. The AirPods. Yeah, those have become, I guess, a household thing. Like I see every single person walking down the street.
Apparently they've gotten better. I remember the first iteration, people complained about them falling out of their ears when they were working out and stuff. Apparently these ones are better.
I have put them in my ears, and I will say they don't feel heavy, but they feel weighted in your ears. Like they don't, like you move your head around, they don't feel like they're gonna just pop out.
But do you feel like you go running with them?
100%.
Oh, really?
100%. Yeah, they feel very sturdy, I guess is the best word to say.
I'll be honest, I'm very used to the type where you just like, it's got like the little rubber thing on the end, silicone piece, and then you push it in.
Yeah.
And it just sits comfortably in your ear.
I am a hater against those. I feel like when I put those in my ear, I'm underwater. Do you ever get that
Yeah, I know what
sensation?
you mean.
Yeah, I can't get over that. It's like a leap and bound. I can't make.
Yeah, I just can't wear like even these things after 10 minutes on my head start getting annoying. I can't really wear them too long without some sort of uncomfortable situation across where the beam is.
Yeah, just kind of in general, your ears get smashed down a little.
Sweaty. I hate that part. It gets sweaty like on your ear and around it because of the cuff. Like,
yeah. So maybe that's the reason why they're convenient. They easily just can throw in your ear. They're wireless, so I can kind of see the attraction.
I've heard they sound good, so I mean, I don't have them, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're saying. So I mean, I guess moving on with the revenues, there are other products which is including with this AirPods and their Apple Watch did $10 billion, which is versus their estimates of 9.5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're still again just crushing it. Tim Cook on their call actually said that they were having trouble keeping up with the supply and demand for their new Apple Watch version 3, I think it is, and the new AirPods.
Crazy.
What are they? They're like updated ones. They're like black.
It's just
they got
another
noise
version.
cancellations. Yeah, they're a little bit more up to
We'll
date.
just call them the AirPod Plus.
AirPod Pros. There it is.
Pros.
They love the Pro. I guess MacBook Pro, all that good stuff. So
I'm really interested to see what happens when they put out the new the Mac Pros, the ones that are kind of a joke online where they can come up to like $60,000.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm really interested to see if they're going to move any of those.
I don't know who's gonna buy those.
Hollywood. It's going to be large production companies that do animation and stuff. I mean, that's pretty much what Apple's been known for since the beginning, is basically their segment is the creative types that work in that world, the creative world. I mean, that's what they've always been known for. And as a person that's had the old Mac Pro, I mean, that thing was leaps and bounds ahead any other machine that I could have built for the time.
Yeah.
And it was a beast, and it was a workhorse. And I'll be honest with you, that thing, I sold it last year and it still worked. You're talking a machine that was probably close to 12 years old
Oh my god.
and it was still useful. You know that you
I'm surprised you were able to update it.
well, I mean it was on the last, I think it was, what was it, on Lion? It might have been
I
on
don't
Lion
know.
was the last operating system it was able to upgrade to, but I mean, you're talking a machine that was that old and still able to run. Show me a PC that'll have that type of compatibility. It
No.
just doesn't exist.
I feel like every PC I've ever owned, at least ones that I haven't built myself, die within
a couple
4
of years.
3-4 years.
Yeah.
They just get bogged down. They have crap all over it. I don't know where to clean it up.
The processors aren't keeping up anymore.
Right, the RAM's just getting bogged down. It can't run the program. It's insane. I don't know if it's me and the computers I'm buying, but
No,
I
it's not.
guess-
It's just that they're not as high of a quality of product. Their motherboards aren't as good. Like, I know for a fact that their RAM isn't as good because like Apple RAM is like double density RAM, so it's like twice as thick.
Right, okay.
So it just lasts and works longer. I mean, it's incredible to me that these machines didn't catch on more to become more affordable to the
Mainstream.
average. No, just affordable. I'd say they're very mainstream.
True.
Like,
yeah,
I know a
guess
lot
that's
of
the wrong
people-
word, yeah.
I mean, I know too many people that literally have like a MacBook Pro to basically surf on the internet and do their like spreadsheet, you know? It's a status symbol
Yeah.
for sure. If you're spending the money on a
100%.
Mac, totally a status symbol.
Or you're just an Apple guy, or you just like, or an Apple person. I
But
should
again,
say.
though, you don't need the MacBook Pro to surf the web. You can get
No,
away
you
with an
just-
AirBook for that. You know?
just buy everything Apple. You got the Apple
Right.
Watch, you got the AirPods, you got the iPad, the phone, the computer, you got the desktop. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there listening right now who has every single one
probably.
of those. Which I'm close to it. I don't have the desktop, but I do have a few of those items.
I mean, I was a huge Apple fan for a while, and even me, I'm just getting outpriced. I mean, it's just crazy. $60,000 for a machine, man. Like,
yeah, I thought it was a joke. I literally had no idea who was going to buy it, but that makes sense. Maybe it will be one of those machines that they build kind of as they're requested for. I can't imagine the mass building these $60,000.
I mean, the one that
machines.
I'm talking about, that's 60 grand, is only if you go with all the bells and whistles.
But
you know,
still,
that's
what's the bottom
everything.
grade? What is it?
I don't know. Why don't you tell a story and I'll price one out real quick and we can show everybody.
All right. Well, we'll kind of move on and just finish out some of the revenues. Their services, which is all of their Apple, like iTunes, their Apple TV, all that good stuff, that came in at $12.7 billion. A little bit lower, but not much. Their estimated was $13.07 billion. Not that much lower. So overall, pretty much on every scale, Apple beat. And that's just an overall impressive thing to continue to do. Even in this day and age, I thought that we would start kind of plateauing a little bit. But apparently Tim Cook and the Apple team is showing us different. So I would just say to keep an eye out on that as we go on here. And in the next couple months, it might be a good investment play. So.
All right, so here we go. We got the Mac Pro, and this is just what it came up as, which I assume would be the base model. And I mean, it's starting at $6 grand, which isn't all too bad. But when you consider it's only a 3.5 gigahertz, 8
I was
core,
looking at that. I'm like,
right,
what?
with only 4 gig boost, 32 gig of RAM. Like, doing video production, I will eat 32 gig of RAM for breakfast.
I have a very similar build at home, and I did not spend anywhere near that.
Yeah,
What are they putting in this thing?
I guarantee you, it's mostly the frickin' box. That all gorgeous stainless steel box that people joke about looking like a cheese grater. But I mean, this isn't.
Oh, wait, that's being brought back though. Wasn't the old?
Oh yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking
MacBook
about.
being. I remember my
Not the MacBook,
sister.
the Mac Pro.
Yeah, I remember my sister
Yeah,
in
this
the
one.
early 2000s when she first got it. She was really big into graphic design and stuff, and was doing a lot of work. And she bought that.
Yeah, the cheese grater.
This thing.
Yeah, they're
It
known as the
looked
cheese
hideous,
grater.
But
But I
people
mean-
loved it, and it worked amazing.
Well, I mean,
I
so
think
that's the new one. The new one they're joking is the cheese grater, but the old ones were not anywhere near as bad. I mean, the ventilation on the old ones weren't bad at all.
No, but it's funny that they bring in that design back.
Yeah, here we go. Here's an old one.
Like, just why?
Well, I mean, so from a design standpoint, I mean, this whole front end is just wide open to allow air through.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
all it was. It was just a giant fan in there. I mean, all your housing up here was pretty much where your computer was. You had a few boards on the side.
Hey, look, is that a CD-ROM up there?
Oh yeah, dual,
DVD
dual baby.
burner, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that was a dual system there.
Oh man, Apple, you have come far.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, this was all just a giant fan. I mean, even from the back, you can see it's just a big output. There was really nothing here. You had a couple boards on the side, and that was it. It was just a big tunnel for air to come through, and my computer never overheated. It sounded like a jumbo jet parked in the driveway. But
yeah, when the fan turned on and off, like
it was
cycle through.
Loud.
Yeah.
But I mean, these new cheese graters. I mean, I don't know. That would, to me, I'd be way too afraid of like bugs and stuff crawling in there.
Yeah.
Like a fly goes in there.
I'd also be I would wonder if it's easily taken apart to clean, because I know.
Oh yeah, the old ones were.
I know mine at home. I have to clean, I don't know, once a month or two just to get all that dust and crap out.
The old ones weren't bad. You just had this giant panel on the side with there was like a switch on the back. You'd pull the switch up and that panel would just pop right off.
Right.
So it wasn't too bad. But I mean, $6,000 for a starter. I mean, that's very expensive for most people. I'd say that even myself, I'm probably going to go back to PC after this.
But I mean, there are a lot of YouTubers out there.
I
don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a
you're
lot
not
of
wrong.
content creators.
There's be a lot of people that
guys.
probably buy it, but I'm
Yeah.
going to say like usually the average guy who's doing it probably isn't going to buy this for his home use.
I will be curious to see kind of the sales on this one, just because it's such a niche product. It's not like for everyone. It's for a very.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can
small
get it
group.
today. I mean, if you wanted one, I'm pretty sure you could just buy it.
Yeah.
Let's see, add to bag.
They didn't. Yeah, and Apple loves to kind of hold back their very specific numbers on where everything's, because when they come out with services revenue, they don't really break down where that's coming from. Is it really all coming from iTunes? Is it coming from their Apple TV?
Well, now they have the Apple Plus too that you have to take into account.
Yeah, so they don't really break it down for you. They like to hide
it's
those
shipping.
behind the wall. So
according to this right here, it'll be here in 5 to 7 business days. So this should be included in their numbers.
maybe we should get an upgrade for the studio.
Yeah, right. We'll just get the team to go and spit up $60,000.
Yeah,
it'll
no
work out great.
No big deal.
There went our bonuses, folks. Yeah, it's crazy to me, but that should be, since it's shipping, it should be part of their numbers. So, I mean, I'm looking here at services revenue, other products revenue. It'd have to be under other products, right?
I'd imagine, yeah, 100%. It's hard to say, though. Again, they don't really...
They don't break it out.
Yeah, break it down. It's the same with Amazon. Amazon doesn't break down these things. They just put them into different subcategories that people understand what's under them, but... Yeah. So, I mean, we know they're probably going to sell. I'm sure we'll hear something about them. I haven't actually been on YouTube lately to see if there's been any reviews. I'd like to see kind of what the computer kind of environment's going on. Crazy about it, or are they not? I don't know, but we'll see.
I'm sure
Definitely
people
keep
are
an eye
crazy
on it.
about it. I'm sure it's a super fast machine that probably can do anything you want in a heartbeat.
Right.
I mean, you look at that thing all jacked out, and it's a pretty impressive device. But also as much as a Land Rover.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
So I don't know that I'm going to be buying a Land Rover and or this.
Yeah,
computer
you have your
anytime
choice.
soon,
You could either get a nice, a nice Corvette, or you can get this. What would you choose, Danny?
Probably the Corvette.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And you probably still have money left over to build a pretty nice machine.
You took the words out of my mouth on that one.
So,
but
good for you,
on,
Apple.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm glad that your numbers hit, but, for Christ's sake, do something about your phones.
Yeah. And like everybody keeps saying, let's see some more innovation. I want to see that next phone blow me away.
Yeah.
I want a computer, something. Give us a piece of technology from you guys that makes me just
You have
jaw
to have
drop.
it.
Yeah,
You
I
have to
gotta
have
buy it. I want to become a part of the Apple community again, whatever it may be. Impress us.
I mean, I was actually semi-excited when the Apple Watch Independent came out, where you didn't have to have it paired to a phone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't, yeah.
So I was actually kind of excited about that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's very Dick Tracy. You got your little watch, and you can poke around on it, and you don't need your phone.
It's really not that expensive. I mean, when I'm looking
Well,
at
because
the
when
prices, it's it's $200 for the watch, and then for the headphones, the AirPod Pros, they're $250. So in my mind,
crazy.
I think I'd buy the watch before the headphones.
For sure.
I don't know though.
But I mean, have you ever tried to read on one of those things?
On the watches?
Yeah, you almost need to get yourself a magnifying glass to carry around with you. It's
God.
like so small.
No.
I mean, you can raise the text size up, but after that it's like one word on the page. You're like, yes, I'll be home for dinner.
I'll be home for
Right.
Christmas. All right.
So it's good that they're doing stuff, but I am in the same boat as you. I got to see them do something innovatingly, because they haven't done anything. The slow fees that they're trying to push right now, like, come on.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think it's a trend thing. They're just trying to be popular and stick with fads and get the younger generation kind of involved.
I mean, they've tried other stuff. They try to do the the animated emoji.
Yeah,
with
the
camera.
face.
Yeah, that didn't really catch on. Actually, I don't think I've ever been sent an animated emoji message.
I got tons of them when everybody first got their phones. All I was getting these stupid emojis, and I was just like, well, how are you doing this? They're like, the phone, it just sees your face and turns you into a. I'm like, that's awesome, but you're never gonna use it again.
Yeah, right.
And they didn't. I haven't got one for like a year or two. So
right. I mean, it's something that just died out. They're basically like depending on pop culture to run their company.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but yeah, whatever. To me,
I'm not gonna be getting a new phone until they do something new.
Yeah, but I guess that kind of wraps that up. I wanted to touch briefly on the Boeing. I know.
If you're gonna go to Boeing, we might as well just go to the battleground, because that was actually gonna be where I was gonna.
Oh, really?
Talk about it. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna add it, but let's go in. We'll get into that.
Let's do it. Oh man! Every time I see those, it reminds me of the photo shoot we had to take. Dressing up for that was quite the adventure, guys.
It was a first,
yeah,
definitely. So as we all know, there we go again. As we know, they all missed earnings. Not a big surprise there, going with the 747 Max. I mean, obviously that's really gonna dig a hole for them, but it isn't digging that much a hole. It really isn't. Like, I was really hoping they'd take a hit with missing earnings, but I mean, if you look at my page, I mean, they didn't really take that much of a hit.
No, for whatever reason, investors were not scared. I mean, in my opinion, this is probably already what people like to say. It was priced in going into this.
I agree.
But I will say, when you look at the numbers, it is quite scary to think that Boeing just hit a loss for the first time in decades. When you put it in words like that, it can make you kind of understand that they're definitely in a little bit of hot water. They're in trouble. I'm going to
disagree with you on there. I think that they've got those government contracts that are keeping them sitting nice and pretty.
Exactly. But those are what help them keep afloat. So just to kind of break down the numbers a little bit, Boeing reported a loss of $2.33 per share for the fourth quarter. Revenue dropped about 37% to $17.91 billion. This was very low compared to the last year. Last year's was $28.34 billion. So quite a drop. Obviously, 37% is nothing to laugh at.
No.
But before the MAX was grounded last year in Q4, Boeing actually earned $5.48. So they went from a $2.33 loss this year to last year's $5.48 profit. So they made $28.3 billion in that quarter, and this was all before the MAX jet. So you can see kind of what, big crash and fall.
Yep.
Boeing said it lost $636 million in 2019, and it's marking its first annual loss since 1997. So obviously that's a very long time, 2 decades almost to first time loss. And when you look at 636 million, obviously it's like, okay, this company's making billions of dollars. They were able to kind of, I guess,
pretty sure they're not going to be paying out any sort of, profit sharing this year.
I don't know. Yeah, the dividends, do they pay a dividend?
I don't think they pay a dividend, but their employees aren't going to be getting any sort of bonuses.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure that's very internal. I don't know.
I was making a joke. We were taking it too seriously. Okay.
Well, I mean, you're right. Who knows? With this type of loss, maybe the company takes a little bit of a backseat to try and get back on
they do pay
top
dividend.
of things. Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do.
I wonder if I didn't hear the conference call, but I wonder if they cut it.
I'm sure.
Or at least
you think they're just going to pay out, and it's kind of like a casino. You think they're going to pay out and, take that hit internally? No way.
Yeah, I don't know.
No way.
It's a good question. I didn't hear anything about it. Usually investors take that pretty to heart when they hear people cutting dividends.
Oh yeah.
So I
But-
don't know. Maybe they haven't yet, at least.
Yeah, that is probably to be seen. But yeah, it's sad for me because I was really hoping they take more of a hit, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to go down much further than 3. I'd be happy if it went under 3. I don't think it's going to happen though.
Yeah, I don't know. They're currently sitting here saying that the cost for this Boeing disaster with the MAX 737 is going to rise to $18 billion this year.
That's insane.
Which is doubling what they outlined last quarter. So it's only growing, this problem. And obviously we have no end in sight to see this plane actually in the air. And even when they do get it approved, they got to go through training and getting it sold again. And I'd imagine it's going to be a long headwind that they're going to have to deal with. So I think 18 billion is just the start. I'd imagine that's going to continue going up. They have to continually pay and compensate the airlines and all their customers that were going to buy this plane. So I think this is only the beginning. Maybe you'll get your cut in price here sooner than later. Maybe this
we'll
is just
see.
Like
I'm not very hopeful. I really honestly thought that this earnings, announcement was really going to give them a good hit, but it's just not looking like it, man. Like you said, I think you are right. I think it was priced in. They all the investors knew it was coming. All the analysts were like, yeah, we know this plane's been down for almost a year now.
Right.
So we don't expect that to change. But bizarrely, like the bad news about like the mechanical potential problem and then the software problem and everything else still hasn't dropped it down.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that their government contracts are really holding them up.
You're not right. You're wrong. I think that if they didn't have those government contracts, we would have been looking at much larger of a loss than 636 million.
I don't think you're wrong there.
I think we would have been in the billions. Obviously, like I said, they made $17 billion in revenue, but for them to lose the 600, so you can see kind of that cost of the MAX 37 and what it's doing to their top line. So
yep.
If they can get over this hurdle, obviously the company will continue to thrive. But I think for now and the next few quarters, me and Eric both are going to be looking at this in hopes of some type of buying opportunity. But
potentially, we'll see. Beyond that, my portfolio is just down a little bit today just because BS, nothing special going on. Everybody's too busy watching whether or not Trump's going to have, Bolton come out and talk some SHIT.
Is this, again, I'm going to reiterate, I am completely off the radar with this because I can't stand it anymore with the political stuff.
You're not
Do
wrong.
you know when it's planned to be over? Is there kind of like a date where they're like, this is when it's happening?
I think it was supposed to be over this week, but now with this Bolton thing, that might get extended. I mean,
all right. It's something we're going to have to.
I'm very
keep an
much
eye on.
like you. I'm very much like I just don't want to listen to it anymore.
It's been
been
going on for a year plus.
3 years.
Yeah. Well,
3 years.
I guess I say a year plus in the sense of like it's been in the news, like literally the word impeachment and
For like 3 years.
yeah. Well,
Since
now
day
it's
one,
like
since he was inaugurated, all you heard was impeach him from the left. It's just
Oh,
I'm
man.
so tired of hearing that word. I
When
hope
will-
they rebrand it somehow.
When will the government get back to business? I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
When will our tax dollars go to work again? for
Instead
what
of
we-
to lawyers and BS, like when are they
Yeah.
going to get back to fixing roads and fixing infrastructure, working on the Green New Deal?
Yeah. When,
Like, come
I'm
on.
sure we're not the only ones that feel this way either. Like,
Probably
it's-
not.
It's just I think enough is enough. This should have been over a long time ago if this was going to happen. I don't believe the Senate will go through with the
No way.
impeachment. It just
They're just as
I
tired
don't
of
know.
it as we
it's
are.
hard for me to see them actually approving it and going forward with it and kicking him out of office.
Not going to happen.
But we have until November 2020.
Yeah, exactly. We
a
have
long
literally.
time.
That's why I don't get it. We
Uh,
literally have an election around the corner. Why are we wasting time on this? Like,
So
but anyway, hello again to IFUA boss and stand up, Stephanie Kausaid. Sorry if I'm butchering your name there. Hello, welcome to the show. You kind of missed a bit probably, or you have been watching. You can join in, give us something to talk about here. But Danny, what you got, man?
man, I got nothing but good news on my part.
Look at you.
I'm happy to completely announce that we're almost out of the red with Square. We've completely made a huge comeback here. So we originally bought this way back when. How long have we been doing this now? 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, at least 6 months.
It was my first stock we bought at 78.70, and it dropped pretty hard down to. Oh, I'm showing your camera instead of my portfolio. So there you go,
That's
guys.
your portfolio, though.
Yeah.
I've got your portfolio up.
There's my portfolio. So you can see that Square here is at $76.35. We originally bought at $78.70. Unfortunately, it dropped pretty significantly down to the low 60s and $59 ish, kind of bouncing around there for a couple months. But investors are getting more excited. We had some bank upgrades for the company, and I think the outlook for investors has been awoken again. So they're getting excited, just like I was when I first bought this company. Obviously, you can see we've done pretty well with GW Pharmaceuticals, which was my cannabis play. The cannabis industry kind of is doing all right as of right now. They're making a little bit of a bump back in the investors' favor. We bought this at 113, and it's now sitting at around 117. So decent profit. Again, we've had Disney and AT&T here for a while, and those have both kind of paid off well. We've been in them since the beginning. So yeah,
Everything will bounce back. Let's read today.
yeah, I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for that one stock that I'm really interested in to jump out at me. So we'll see. Yeah, again, we'll get aggressive probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll make a play. I know I have some on my radar, but nothing I felt kind of necessary to pull the trigger on. Kind of like you, I'm watching Boeing. I wish it had a bigger drop because it is one of those companies like with the investment with Disney. We both kind of bought that in like, oh yeah, this is a great company. It's going to be around for a while.
It's down at the moment.
Yeah, and you look for those opportunities. You don't want to buy it on. I mean, you can be a momentum trader and you can buy it on the top, but I think for me, I like to buy when there's an opportunity.
When there's a dip, for sure.
Right. So it sounds like we're all just kind of waiting for that dip in the market and or a specific stock. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out, and I'm very happy with the way the portfolio is kind of.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're not in bad shape. I still want to add. I just haven't found that stock that's really tickling my innards.
Yeah.
But really quickly, Stephanie Kosade, LOL.
LOL. I don't know what to, but I'll
tell you about it after. I don't want to tick off anybody who's out there. We already brought out the Tesla fanboys last week.
Man, yeah.
We don't need to inspire any more hatred.
You didn't make too many friends on the hatred towards Tesla, which is, I mean, I feel like everybody loves them, even if they don't like Elon Musk. I don't know why. It's a weird obsession I think America has with Tesla. But
oh yeah, for sure. The fanboys were out.
Yep, they were. So if you're interested,
they were busy burning their coal and their gasoline to charge their cars up so they could run over here and say something face to face.
Yeah. So if you're interested in kind of seeing what we talked about last week, go ahead and jump back an episode. We talked a lot about Tesla and kind of the electric car market.
Electric car, actually, that I'm going to look further into to invest in, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, keep an eye on that. I think that does it though.
Yeah, I think we're done for today. Unless anybody else has any last comments.
Questions, concerns?
Doesn't look like it. I'll check real quick one last time because you know what time it is, Danny?
I don't.
It is time for the Zacks promo. Zacks.com/promo. Make sure you guys check it out. Right now we have a deal for $1 that gets you the Zacks Investor Collection. Danny, show them what they get here. They get all kinds of stuff. They get a couple reports, they get a couple services, a bunch of information. You go check it out, guys.
Well, what's cool about the service is that you actually get inside look to all the portfolios that you otherwise would have to pay for on a long-term basis.
Yep.
So you kind of get the inside look of what's going on? What are they buying? Is this something for me?
If you're an income investor, you get an idea what the income portfolio is doing. Now, again, you don't have to buy into them, but it gives you an idea of what people are looking at.
Right. I think they're great examples, so go on, take a look. I know I use them to help me kind of get ideas in the market. So yeah.
And you get all that information at Zacks.com/promo. For $1. That's a pretty good deal if you're just going to check it out. There's really no loss there. I mean, who doesn't have $1? Like literally your coffee at Starbucks costs you more.
Yeah, I was going to say, people spend more money on coffee.
Right, exactly. So check it out. It's worth it. Even for $1, just check it out. If you don't like it, doesn't matter. You paid $1.
Yep.
You learned that the service didn't work for you, and you can tell your friends, hey, this is what I didn't like about it, this is what I did, and maybe they'll like it. Exactly. Either way, check it out for $1. And with that, I think I'm just going to say see you next week.
Peace.